what I really want to do is just kind of start diving into like using Webpack. Like, let's use it for the first time. Let's from scratch. You know, a lot of the code that we're going to work on today is going to be coding along with me, and so I love to preface this and say, you know, I'm probably one of the least creative people as possible when it comes to like building a web app. And we're just going to talk about the core pieces. So it may not be the most visual, like it's not going to be Sarah Drasner doing these beautiful page transitions with SVG animations, not at all. Although like those are really great. We're going to be just doing bare bones because the whole point is that like every single one of your workflows are completely different. And so trying to pull up something that's already created and walk through it is not going to provide as much value as it is being able to just start from scratch, build as you go, and then understanding that you had the flexibility to do anything any way that you want. And especially, like, I think some people would say, like, Sean, there is no, like, there's a Twitter thread yesterday, somebody who's from the Rails community was ripping on Webpack, and, like, his first response was, I guess the problem is that there isn't one right way to do things. And I'm like, yeah, it's the web. Like, there is no one solution for what you're trying to create. If every web application was made the exact same way, Webpack wouldn't exist. We wouldn't need it. But that's not the case. We all have unique challenges. We either work for finance or e-commerce, completely different domains of things that you're trying to solve, and things are going to be completely more or not important to you. So if you haven't cloned this repo already, go ahead and do so. And I actually want you to check out, so there's a lot of branches that are there, and we'll probably jump back and forth. If you feel like you're lost at any time, please speak up, because this is the most important part, is you experiencing how to do it and having the confidence of doing it. So there is a branch that you can check out, and so let's see. Let's just pretend I'm on master. Okay. All right. So our master, you look and you're like, Sean, there is nothing here. That's the point. We're starting from scratch. So we're going to jump to get checkout feature, I can't spell, 01 FEM first script. All right. So you're going to see that there are like a billion dependencies in here. But that's intentional. I use Yarn myself. Who uses npm? Okay. So the commands are going to be the exact same. If I run, like, the only difference is if I'm running a script or if I'm installing anything, I'll probably use Yarn. I'll just type Yarn instead of npm install. So if you want to go ahead right now, you can run npm install. And it's going to pull down a whole bunch of dependencies because, of course, the Webpack ecosystem is huge. And so you have a lot of different integrations and things to choose from. And we may not cover every single one of these, but we are going to touch on definitely like the fundamentals and how to include these features into your application or as you're building it. And so I'll run it myself. Run yarn or npm install, either is fine. You might see some dependency warnings. That's okay. That's npm. Now, while you're doing that, and I hear like the multi-core fans kicking in on your Macs and your PCs, so while this is happening, I'm going to give kind of like a high-level overview, or we're just going to look and work through understanding like how scripts work, right? So if you've never been familiar with the npm ecosystem, you'll probably wonder how the heck you run anything, right? You're using Node, that's a prerequisite, and you need to actually run Webpack. So when you install packages, or you might notice, like if you do npm install, you could do -- save dev. Like I usually recommend if it's npm, you do npm install -dev. If you don't, that's okay too. But regardless, what Webpack or what npm does is it takes and adds a bin folder inside your Node modules. And these are the executables for all of the modules that have been downloaded. And so each of these have some sort of CLI or binary executable, including, Webpack itself. And so to actually run these, like if I was just to try and do Webpack in here, it doesn't work. It fails, see? It says Webpack not found. So what NPM does is it allows you to run scripts that hoist that binary package within its scope. So this gives you the opportunity. So like the first thing we'll literally do here. Now I know that there's a script field already, but if you wanted to like have that from scratch experience, you can literally just add a scripts key or a scripts key, and then the object is the value. And then now basically how this works is you can have anything in here. It could be like Sean Larkin. And then what NPM will allow you to do is you can run any sort of command from here. It can be any sort of even bash command. But the difference is now you have those binary executables in this scope. So for example, if I wanted to run Webpack, all I have to do is type Webpack here, right? So now to run it, it's either npm run and name of that script, right? So in this case, but why don't, just for the sake of following along, we just rename it to build. Or we can even call it Webpack. I like that because then I know exactly what that's running. So if I just said npm run Webpack, and I saved this, oops. There we go, that's the feedback I'm used to seeing. That's the default console output for Webpack.